Hey, what's up guys, Rob the Undead Gamer here, and it's been a good week now since the Star Wars Battlefront Beta weekend, and in that time, obviously you've seen some content of the beta that I made, going through sort of all the gameplay modes and all the maps that we had available. I've also had a lot of time on my own just playing the game, and then on the Sunday I did a big live stream of the game, so I had my fair share of experience with the beta over that weekend, and now it's sort of been a week. You've sort of seen the content I've made and sort of done. It's sort of got to time for me to sort of collate my sort of thoughts and my own feelings about the beta and how I feel about it sort of going on, and sort of how I feel about the end game when we finally get it. So first things first, I didn't wholly have a really positive experience of the beta. Personally, I felt as if, well, I'll go into detail, but I didn't enjoy it so much, and you know, as we go on, hopefully you'll understand why, and hopefully I'll be able to justify why I didn't enjoy it, and maybe some of you guys feel a very similar way if you had a chance to be part of the beta. But I suppose we best kickstart things off with stuff. So firstly, I want to talk about the look and the sort of feel of the game. The game is aesthetically pleasing, as I mentioned. The interfaces, the UI, the menus, they're all nice, they're all clean, they're all like crisp looking. The game looks how a next gen Battlefront should look like. It looks how Battlefront 3, basically, the one we've been waiting for, it looks how it should. It looks wonderfully upgraded, as it would be on next generation consoles, and no doubt looks even better on PC. And it's really got that look and feel and quality of a Star Wars game. It's undeniable. The graphics look phenomenal, the maps look beautiful, it all looks very, very good, very detailed, and very pleasing to the eyes. Although that said, the maps themselves I wasn't entirely impressed with. Whilst yes, they looked very beautiful and very nice, and as we sort of know, we're only getting 4 maps, which is a bit, I'll be honest, is a bit of a downer, but I was kind of expecting, okay, well, they're only doing 4 maps. Obviously, we're getting Hoth, Endor, Tatooine, and the new map, Solust. You know, kind of expecting them to be sort of top quality, amazing looking, with lots going on, and they are, and they're sort of not. The problem I've got, and this really sort of this sort of phrase epitomizes, I suppose, my frustration and almost disappointment with the beta, and me having a sort of negative opinion of the game and how it's going to end, is a lack of substance. There's a lack of something there, or a lack of material, as it were. So whilst the maps look very good and very beautiful and detailed in what they are, they're just very empty. And now I know it sounds weird. Obviously, the maps, the planets that these maps are set on, Hoth, just a snowy planet with nothing but snow, desolate snow. Tatooine, again the same, a desolate desert sort of planet. Endor, full of trees, forests, and then Solust, obviously sort of a volcanic, mountainous planet. And yes, obviously you're not going to get a lot of sort of variety within those maps, but my issue is, now, I'm not a games developer, I don't know anything about games development, and I'm not going to pretend I do, but surely it's not difficult to just simply copy and paste the same texture or the same look again and again and again. It's like when you get to the edge of Hoth, or when you get to the edge of the Tatooine map or whatever, you look out and all you see is nothing, just snow or just desert or whatever, which obviously, yes, stays true to the planet. I'm not expecting all these different sort of like towns and cities and stuff like it wouldn't make sense, obviously. But my point is, the maps that they've given us themselves aren't, oh my god, amazing. it's almost as if they've made the maps, but there's not. There seems to be, to me, no justification as to why they've decided to only make 4 maps. As DICE have said, they wanted to focus on 4 maps, focus on making those maps really good, really awesome, and that's what I was expecting. Maybe I was over-expecting it, but that's what I was expecting. But after playing the beta and experiencing the maps, there seems to me no reason why on Earth they can't make more maps and planets at all. Bearing in mind, Battlefront 1 and 2 had numerous planets, numerous maps, numerous locations at which you could go and play the game. And they were detailed. For the time, anyway. They were as detailed as they are now for the time. So, to me, there's almost no justification as to why we're only getting 4 maps in this game, that really there's not a lot to them. There's not a lot there. And speaking of the maps, we're sort of veer into gameplay now, but basically we were exposed to 3 play styles, 3 sort of games in the beta, and that was Drop Zone with Celeste, the Walker Assault on Hoth, which I suppose is the big one everyone was waiting for, and then obviously the Tatooine missions, which are the sort of single player / co-op missions that you can sort of do as opposed to doing the multiplayer gameplay, which this game, or the Battlefront sort of prizes itself on, is its multiplayer. But I wasn't wholly impressed with the gameplay modes. Now, obviously, yes, it was beta. We only get a little snippet of this, that, and the other. But it felt to me every time I played Drop Zone or every time I played Hoth, it was the same. It was exactly the same. Now, yes, obviously, being exposed to a very limited amount of gameplay and a very limited amount of matches and game sort of styles, of course, you're going to play Walker Assault again and again and again and again and again. And yes, eventually you will get bored of it. But there almost seemed like there was no difference between the games. Every time I played Hoth, Walker Assault, it'd be exactly the same as the next time I played it. And the next time, obviously, yes, you'd either win or lose, or you'd be on the Empire or the Rebel side, but there was not much variation in the gameplay. Each game didn't feel new and fresh. Now, I sort of compare this to when you play Call of Duty. Yes, you can play Call of Duty, and we all do it for hours on end. You could play Call of Duty for hours online playing Team Deathmatch. You could play Call of Duty online for hours playing Team Deathmatch, and if not on the same map again and again, but every time, even though you're playing the same game style, and even though you might play the same map several times, it always feels different. The game always ends differently or has something different about it. There's always an element of variety within each single game, so it feels new, refreshing, and replayable. To me, Battlefront suffered from a lack of that. A lack of variety, a lack of something new and fresh every time you played the same map. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it was just because we were, as I said, limited to a very certain amount of gameplay and things like that, but it just felt very samey. It felt no variety, and in the end, honestly, I got very, very bored very, very quickly. When I was doing the live stream, I kind of couldn't wait to end and was thinking halfway through, I want to do something else. I want to play something else, which really, with any game, you don't want to make your players feel like that, and especially with a beta, which is some people's first introduction to the game before they actually get it in their hands. You don't want to be doing that or giving that effect on people who are playing the beta, because if anything, that's just a complete turn-off and will not make people buy the final product, if anything. So obviously there were elements of the gameplay which are extremely different to what we're used to with Battlefront before. And in terms of, usually Battlefront was like a class-based shooter. Now it's not so much. Now you sort of pick your perks and you pick your weapons and things like that. So it's quite customizable in the way you sort of want to play or can play. There were definitely elements of that which I thought were really good, in that it was kind of free and open for you to do whatever. Obviously, again, I think we were limited to a certain amount of perks and things like that with the star cards, or we'll call them perks because it's just easier. But we were limited to a certain amount of them. But it was kind of enough, I suppose, and it did introduce a bit of variety to each sort of player and each match with who you're playing with, in that everyone was sort of a little bit different to you. And I hope that we were just shown a limited amount. I hope that when the game is released, that we get exposed to many more star cards, so there is much more variety and much more diversity within player choice and the way you pick perks and things like that. And with that said, I did enjoy the fact that most of them were on a cooldown as well, which means you sort of couldn't spam them, which gave an element of strategy to playing your class and playing your star cards, essentially, which I thought was really good, really interesting, especially when you got things like the ion grenades and the ion shot and things like that. It made you sort of strategically use them, especially when you were up against like a ATST or something similar, where you would have to use those sort of ion shots that would help you against things like mechanics or droids or things like that, which gave you a slight edge and gave you a little bit of strategy to play with, which was really nice, really different to, I suppose, every other perk based shooter out there. But as I say, I hope we get more and more when the actual game gets released, because although there was enough there for the beta, I like to hope that as your ranks increase in the game and as you level up further, the more you'll be exposed to, because I think we could only get to rank 5 max in the beta, and I think we were only exposed to up to rank 5 of the star cards. So hopefully, provided, you know, however many ranks there are, they're planning to give you in Star Wars Battlefront, I certainly hope that there's going to be many more star cards and perks for you to sort of unlock and get, which give you much more diversity, much more variety, as I've said.
Now,
further in those sort of new gameplay mechanics which are being introduced into this Battlefront, the way they dealt with vehicles in the game,
is that
mainly in the Walker Assault, obviously you could eventually sort of come across an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter and fly those things, or even the Walker, the AT-AT itself, or the ATST,
straight away before we lose it.
Get into those and control them to a degree.
First time I've been in one of these.
Previous Battlefronts, you know, these machines, these vehicles were just lying around, and
so
you
as we
could
know,
just
it's
hop
on
into
rails
them whenever you damn please, and then just go off flying into them. And you know, there was something awesome about that. Obviously, being a multiplayer only game, of course I understand they've got to sort of limit that in a sense, and they've got to control that in a way so that people can't just sort of constantly get into certain things and only a certain amount of people will be able to be exposed to it. You know, the way they've done it is where they sort of leave random X-Wing tokens just around the field, around the battlefield, and you can come across them, pick them up and use them, and then you sort of get teleported into an X-Wing or whatever, and you get to fly the thing or get to control that vehicle, which is quite cool. You know, it adds an element of randomness to the gameplay, adds an element, you know, that sort of anyone, if they're in the right place at the right time, that they can pick up those things and they can control those vehicles and they can fly around in an X-Wing if they want, and that's really cool. However, the maps just aren't built for the maps just aren't built for flight at all. Now I assume that when the game comes out, there will be more maps and there will be more like sort of availability of these vehicles. But my experience on Hoth, now just going back to Battlefront 2. The flying in that, obviously you had space battles in that, which was amazing, and you also had a few ground levels where you could get into certain vehicles themselves, but it was mainly sort of the flying of the spaceships was kind of more left for the space battles, obviously. But the flying in Battlefront 2 felt fluid, it felt natural, it felt smooth, and it felt like it needed to be there. Obviously, the size of the maps in Battlefront 2, especially with the flying, you could have a genuine go at it, essentially. I don't know, I'm trying to make as much sense of this as I can, but the flying in Battlefront, in the Battlefront beta, just didn't feel natural. It felt tacked on. It almost felt like the vehicles themselves felt really difficult to control. They didn't feel fluid and as smooth and as sort of natural as the previous Battlefront games. And also, the maps themselves, they aren't big enough for flight. They're just not. Hoth was so tiny. By the time you sort of flown around in your X-Wing, you've got to turn around again because otherwise you're leaving the battlefield. It's just, the maps just aren't built for it. And now, I'm not sure if it was just me or because it was in beta, but the maps themselves, when you're in the X-Wings, didn't seem very clear. Like, from up high, you could barely see the battlefield. Obviously, it's a little bit confusing because the whole battlefield is just damn snow, but I couldn't see the walkers. I couldn't see any sort of the gunplay that was going on below me. I had to get super, super close to the ground before I could actually see something, and even then, I was at risk of crashing the ship. You know, with dodgy flying mechanics aside, it just didn't feel good. It felt tacked on, unnecessary, and almost, why on earth have we got rid of the space combat? Why on earth are we doing that? And this is it again. It's a lack of substance. It's a lack of something there that I think this game's really suffering from. And it almost feels like there's no need for it. Now, I suppose with regards to one of the biggest things that people enjoyed Battlefront 4, and that was, I suppose, playing the heroes. Now, sadly, the way they've got you playing heroes in the new Battlefront is, if you're sort of top dog on the battlefield, if you're getting all the kills and getting all the high scores, then of course they're going to be like, hey, do you want to play Luke? Do you want to play Darth Vader? And you get to play as those heroes, which is cool. Now, sadly, I'm not great at shooters. I didn't get a chance at all to play the hero, sadly, so I can't really comment on how that was or how the gameplay of that was and how it felt. For something like that, I'm afraid you're going to have to go elsewhere. But what I will say, and what I will state, is for people like me that aren't naturally, I suppose, gifted at shooters, that won't always get the highest scores, it would be very rare for me to be top dog unless I really, really, really work at something like that and play nothing but that game. Then probably I'll be up there on the top. But it just doesn't happen for me naturally. It doesn't happen for me easily. So for someone like me who, I suppose, plays casually almost, like, the fact that I couldn't experience playing a hero using a lightsaber or doing something like that just felt a bit crap, honestly. I understand it's a reward for those who are great and who are doing really well in the map. I get that, I appreciate that, but I feel it's almost a bit of a cop-out when and again, lack of substance. I don't understand why we can't have a single player that will allow people like myself, people who aren't necessarily good but enjoy playing online shooters but aren't great at them, but just enjoy playing them because it's something different to do or something that you just fancy doing every now and then. I don't see why there couldn't be a single player, or give those people an opportunity to play the heroes. Use a lightsaber, play Darth Vader, play Luke Skywalker, play whoever else. It sucks. It's a bit suckish. It really is. Now, I'm not saying, dumb it down for people like me. Obviously, that's like a high reward. You're playing a hero, so, the system they've got in place they should keep. However, and this goes back to really one of my main sort of issues with Battlefront, is the fact that there is no single player. There seems almost no reason or rhyme to do so when what we've been given and what we've been exposed to is lacking. I'm sorry I keep saying it, but it's lacking in substance. Now, sort of going on to what sort of single player we do have, and that's in regards to the missions, and obviously we were exposed to the Tatooine mission. Now, it's nice that these are basically just little missions. There's nothing much to them. They're just waves. You just shoot, you fight against waves upon enemies. And that's essentially all it is. It gets a little bit progressively harder, and it's nice that you can change the difficulty of these waves or these matches, basically, or these missions, so you can, normal, hard, and all that sort of thing. But it's sort of like, is this just a cheap way to keep some of us happy with a quote-unquote single player? Like, is that all this is? Because if that's the case, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Now, obviously, DICE are a very well sort of trusted developer. They've been extremely successful with Battlefield, which, as we know, is one of the sort of best and biggest multiplayer military shooters. It's Call of Duty's rival, if anything, against anything else. And they're great at what they do, and they are. And I can't fault the shooting or anything like that. It was good, it was top notch, but and DICE aren't exactly known for great single player games. They're not known for great single player storylines and things like that. So it's kind of understandable as to why there is no single player. And of course, there are a lot of multiplayer shooter games that do very well as solely multiplayer shooters. Team Fortress 2 is one of the best examples of a solely multiplayer shooter that does it's still doing extremely well. Even after how many years it's been out, it's still probably one of the most played games on Steam. Even furthering that, a game like Call of Duty could get away. The next Call of Duty, for example, could just get away with not even having a single player and just being solely a multiplayer game. There are lots of games that do well being solely multiplayer shooters. And I suppose they're trying to do this with Battlefront. However, it seems almost... I can't fathom the logic for a reason as to why there is no single player story campaign or anything like it in Battlefront. I mean, it's not like they're stuck for ideas, let's be honest. The lore of Star Wars is so rich and there's so much of it. They could have literally done anything with it. Even furthering that, we've got the damn 7th film coming out later this year, December. Even if they were to tie it in with that in some way, it's not difficult. Or do something completely different with it. Again, it's not difficult. Galactic Conquest was really good in Battlefront 2. You had also the single player campaign with the clones and how they became from the clones to the Empire and all that sort of stuff. That was interesting. I'm not going to say it was great. It wasn't great storytelling, but it was something. It was something good, something enjoyable, because it's not like there's a lack of inspiration or a lack of material in the Star Wars universe for a storyline. There's certainly not. Certainly not. And giving that single player, not only will it open the game up so much more to so many more people, but it will allow you to do things and play the heroes. It will allow you to play the vehicles and do all this sort of thing that you some of us desperately want to do, but haven't had a chance to experience or can't experience for whatever reason. And it seems like there's almost no reason for it. As they've said, DICE have said they wanted to focus on the multiplayer and focus on those 4 maps and make them the best they can be. But from what I've experienced, it's almost a waste of time. And it seems that from what I've experienced, there is no reason whatsoever as to why there's only 4 maps, why there's not more than 4 maps, or why there is no single player. What they've done isn't that great, isn't that amazing. I'm not saying they've not worked hard on it, because they clearly have, and I'm not going to say that games are easy to develop, because they're certainly not. However, with what we've been given and what we've been exposed to and what we've been shown, and obviously, yes, when the full game comes out, we will get more. We'll get, obviously, Endor, we'll get more maps, we'll get more gameplay types and things like that. But if it's this, what we've already got, but more of it and a little bit different, that's not great, in my opinion. That's not a game that I'm particularly looking forward to in it by any stretch of the imagination. Honestly, I couldn't give a shit about Battlefront, and that sucks. That hurts me a little bit, because I've been waiting for this game for about 10 years now. However long it's been, it's about around 10 years I've been waiting for Battlefront 3. And this is what we're being given. I'm not impressed. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not particularly hyped for it anymore. I don't care. And honestly, the fact that EA are making this or publishing it as well, I am worried. I am very worried, especially seeing as what we've got and what we've been given. To me, doesn't seem enough. It almost feels like this is perfect opportunity, perfect time, and perfect excuse for EA to warrant basically saying, hey, guys, look at all this DLC we're making. We're going to make all these planets, all these different gameplay types, all this, that and the other, and sell it to you as DLC. And if EA turn around and do that, it won't surprise me. Not at all. Because honestly, from what we've been given and what I've played and what I've been exposed to and what we've all been exposed to with the beta, it'll be no surprise. No surprise if we do end up getting more Battlefront, all DLC, and nothing but. And of course it's going to sell. Of course it's going to sell because it's Star Wars. Star Wars is a cash cow. And sadly, EA know that. And this is what I think they'll do with Battlefront. They'll milk it and milk it and milk it. And of course people are going to buy into it because it's Star Wars. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't want it to happen. But that's how I feel it's going. Especially with what we've been shown. What I've played. What I've experienced. That's how it feels Battlefront is headed. And I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. I won't be buying this game on release. I don't think I'll get this game at all. I'm going to wait till reviews come out. I'm going to wait till opinions show and I see the progress of the game and, you know, see how much more is given to us on release. But I'm not going to make any quick decision to buy this game, not at all. If I do buy this game, it might be for a reason, as in my friends are getting it and they're enjoying it and playing it. It might be for a reason that it's cheap and it's doing okay, so I might get it. But other than that, I've got no plans. I've got no intention of buying Battlefront. I don't think I will, if I'm perfectly honest. Honestly, there's other games I'd rather spend my money on. There's other developers, other publishers I would rather give my hard-earned cash to than DICE and EA, and sadly Battlefront. So, negative all round, yes. But that's just my sort of thoughts and feels on Battlefront. I don't mean to shit on it, but that's kind of my honest opinion and honest feel about the game. I want it to do well, I do. There are a lot of things I did quite enjoy about the game. Obviously, as I said, it does look beautiful. The game looks really great, and one of my favourite things, although, you know, the maps almost seem quite empty, I have said they're quite, especially Tatooine map, it was quite there was quite a nice lot of verticality there, which was really cool. I had added quite a bit of variety to that map. Also, the sky in Celeste with all the spaceships going around and flying and shooting and things falling from the sky, that was really cool, really enjoyable, really nice to see, really sort of set up a certain atmosphere for the game. But there's not enough that I liked from it to warrant me enjoying it and getting it, unfortunately. So, yes, I've been talking for so long, and I apologise for that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed my sort of roundup, my sort of feelings, my thoughts on Battlefront, and we'll see what happens in the future with it. Hopefully it does well, but we will see. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I've rambled on far too long now, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye. Na 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 na